In the world of gaming, there are some games that are casual and for fun. Then there are some games which encourage competition with things like rank ladders and rewards for beating other players. And in those games there are lots of people that want to get so good that they can go and play in professional tournaments and be signed by a team. The likelihood is that that will never happen for a vast majority of players, but some of the best of the best of the best might just get scouted. League of Legends is the most played game in the world, and so has an array of tournaments from MSI to LCK to the yearly World Championships. Winning such an event will solidify your name in League history forever, along with winning a large amount of money and have a skin based after you in the game. But to even make it to Worlds, let alone win, is a feat not to be taken too lightly. The World Championship is a tournament which of course is for the best teams across the world. There are tournaments specifically for Korean championships or European championships and so on, but in a tournament that's meant for the entire world, why is it that Korea seems to be such a dominant region? Out of the current 10 World Championships to date, Korean teams have won 6. After that, China has won 2, Europe has won 1, and Taiwan has won 1. It all comes down to culture. In Korea, gaming is a major social activity and isn't as looked down upon as in some Western countries. If you've never heard of PC bangs, they're essentially a place you can go to in South Korea and pay a small hourly fee to use high-end computers. They're a great place for younger people to go to after school and socialise with their friends and other people with similar gaming interests. This is one of the structures in place to help support and breed the gaming world in Korean society. The idea to go pro in Korea is more supported than it might be in Western countries. Many esports professional players' stories go back to how their parents were supportive of their gaming aspirations very early on, and one single father in particular was maybe more supportive than most others. Enter FAKER.
They went for both seals and quintessences, so they have a little bit more, but mid lane's gonna have to match in.
Moving in, flash forward, FAKER does what he can with a petrifying gaze, but it might not be enough. Heal coming through, FAKER needs to make his way out comes the backside, the flashback. Contract's now in trouble, FAKER pushing for a little bit more. Is he gonna get the first blood here? That's it from FAKER.
I'm like, even though I only have a mat on the floor, I think he's in the bed. Oh, FAKER maybe in trouble here, Deathmark tries to clean it up for Ryu. Oh, look at the cleanse, look at the moves! FAKER, what was that?
He's hiding, he's coming. Yang looking to come in, here comes your initiation, they're right through. Oh my God, FAKER shockwave will find them all. Watch out for this though, the culling is coming out, crowd getting super low, the last bullet is gonna take him down, first blood, a solo kill to FAKER on the Lucian.
FAKER was raised by his father and grandparents in Seoul. His mother was mostly absent from his and his brother's lives. He was always an avid gamer. Before he got into computer games, he would go to the arcade with his friends. When he did get into computer games, he played Warcraft 3 and Chaos, like a lot of pros did, before he stumbled upon League of Legends. In an interview, FAKER has stated, "My family was not well off, but closer to being poor. To be frank, when I got serious at League, my family and I weren't worried about my grades, but instead worried about the cost of the electricity bill. I was scolded for it too." With this in mind, his father being supportive of his aspirations to go pro says a lot about the gaming culture in Korea and more importantly, about the confidence he had in FAKER, believing he was born to be a pro gamer. When playing League, FAKER reached the top of the rank ladder. People speculated whether he was a smurf or a pro from a different region, and then eventually in 2012, he was picked up by a professional team. The team SK Telecom T1 reached out to FAKER, offering him a spot as the mid laner on the team SKT T1K, where he would play with Impact, Bengi, Piglet, and Pumandu, with their coach Koma. Since the team had a lot of fresh pros who were new on the scene to the fans, they weren't expected to outperform some of the other teams, and certainly not some of the best teams. Then, in FAKER's debut game, this happened.
See how well Captain Jack's been doing this lane because he's been typically a relatively weak lane.
Whoa, ambition! What, FAKER? With this big tower dive, they're gonna come down this bottom lane. Captain Jack the first target, and Rust Boy's not going to escape either, I don't think. He's gonna flash, maybe only gonna wait. No, there's a spear, a double.
Was that ambition in 6, and he was in the middle of
FAKER claims another one. start for these guys.
FAKER had proven that he wasn't just a solo queue prodigy, and that he could play at such a level in a more tense and competitive team environment. And people realised this going into Worlds 2013 where SKT won, steamrolling RNG 3-0 in the finals, with the last game of the series being only 20 minutes long. This team weren't just good, they were the best. Winning All-Stars in 2014 without dropping a game, it was looking like a good year for SKT, however later in that year they failed to qualify for Worlds. This led to a lot of changes made to the roster. Multiple team members left and both SKT T1S and SKT T1K merged together to create SKT T1, with the roster of Marin, Bengi, FAKER, Easyhoon, Bang, and Wolf. Even though these roster changes seem to be working well, FAKER has said sharing his role with Easyhoon took some of the happiness out of winning when he wasn't the one playing. SKT were back, and not only won Worlds 2015, but Worlds 2016 too, which makes them the first team to win 3 World Championships and the first to win 2 back-to-back World Championships. However, this Korean dynasty couldn't stay on top forever. Throughout his career, FAKER has been dubbed with a few nicknames: the Solo Queue Hero, Master of Mid Lane, and most famously, the Unkillable Demon King. All of these for good reason. Nobody could compare to him, his mechanics were better than everyone else, his champ pool was deeper than anyone else, and his professional record was matched only by one other player, his teammate Bengi, who had also won 3 World Championship titles along with FAKER. And after their back-to-back wins of 2015 and 2016 Worlds, everyone had an expectation in the back of their minds that 2017 would be no different, until this happened in the Grand Finals.
Sang-hyeok, he pushed mid first. You can see the flash hold left. They've caught FAKER. They've got the CC. The mid laner is down. The Unkillable Demon King has done his life. As late as the kills come through, the SKT dynasty is over. All hail the new kings, Samsung Galaxy.
FAKER was caught by a Varasol, which won Samsung Galaxy the game and the championship. His flash was literally seconds from coming off cooldown, and this is what sealed the fate of SKT in 2017. FAKER was crushed, and after the games he was seen with his head on his desk. This was the first Worlds FAKER has attended that he hadn't been able to win. And I know this could have come off as narcissistic of him to assume he would win, but after you do what no other teams have been able to do and win 3 World Championship titles, it's understandably crushing to lose 3-0 in the Grand Finals, especially when you were the one that got caught in the last fight. The roster had changed a few times since the 2015 lineup, and the 2017 roster consisted of FAKER, Bang and Wolf in their positions, and Huni in the top lane and both Peanut and Blank in the jungle. This wasn't the worst roster and had a lot of talent, but it definitely wasn't as strong as the 2013, 15 or 16 lineup. Maybe the team still needed to get a bit more used to each other's playstyles, or maybe they just had an unfortunate run, but this loss was a blow to FAKER and to SKT. The worst part was, this wasn't even the end of SKT's fall from grace. They would have a horrible year in 2018 where they'd not even qualify for Worlds that year. In 2019 they would lose Worlds semi-finals 1-3 to G2, a team who they'd struggled with throughout the year, and then in 2020 they would fail to qualify for Worlds again. Once the most dominant team, not in just Korea but the entire world, is now struggling to even make it to World Championships. So, what does this mean for the future of SKT and for FAKER? Well, SKT are currently trying to build the strongest team possible, with a 10-man roster that they can analyse to swap in and out players to create the best lineups. So the fate of T1, which is what they rebranded to somewhere during all of this, is unknown. But they seem to be looking fairly strong, and it's predicted that they'll have a pretty good chance of making it to Worlds if nothing else. Ever since first watching the Season 3 Worlds VODs, when I started playing early 2014, I've been a fan of SKT. Well, more accurately, I've been a fan of FAKER. Over his career he's won a bunch of MVP awards, eSport Player Awards, Popularity Awards, along with of course things like his MSI wins, LCK wins, and most impressively his 3 World Championship wins. And because of his history and popularity, he's now got a Twitch stream where you can see the Master of Mid Lane practice his mechanics and interact with fans. He's also been able to go to different places around the world and meet other prominent people in the league scene, so the future of FAKER isn't fading just yet. After his professional career is over, however, FAKER has stated that he'd like to study, and has expressed interest in science. The truth is, FAKER doesn't need to prove himself anymore. From being one of 2 brothers, raised by a single father and his grandparents, not having a lot of money and worrying about power bills, to being widely regarded as the best League of Legends player of all time. FAKER could announce his retirement tomorrow, and that wouldn't damage his reputation as the best of all time at all. No matter what happens in his professional career from now on, nobody will be able to topple the legacy that he's created. From the first Worlds that he won, to the Z outplay, to his forward role on the stage, he will always be the best. He will always be the unkillable Demon King.